I mean, of course our game is woke. Women of kabuki entertainment. So, I love open world games. They've been a consistent force in gaming for decades. And it's slowing down more in recent years, but you still get them all the time. I often play games in very short bursts, so for better or worse, there's always something about how mundane and tedious that they are that kind of always hooks me. Something easy to put on in the background. It's great for multitasking. It's a game that I can play while doing something else, like watching a stream or listening to a podcast. So many of them, once you're into it, once you've gotten past the initial story, you can find where important lore moments or cutscenes might be, and you can just fill that time in between with the slower side quests or something like that. And there's something really fun about that pacing to me, to be able to pick it up at any time and just have some fun with it. I've also always been drawn to modern settings. It doesn't even have to be our modern. It can be something even in the future, but there's something about cities that really entice me. Fantasy settings never really interest me as much. Maybe it's because I never lived in a big city, but there's something about lights and nightlife and the aesthetic of modern architecture. Something about our world, but heightened, that's so appealing to me. Despite my love for open world games, sometimes the more generic the better, there's very few I've actually played. I've played Spider-Man, obviously. Whatever number or subtitle you want to put to that, I've played them. Okay guys, today on Insomniac Spider-Man Part 1, we're gonna play The Floor is Lava. I've played some of GTA 4. I played the Arkham games, Red Dead Redemption, Prototype. You guys remember Prototype? Dead Rising, if that counts, but you know, that gets into the category of more of a sandbox game. The list goes on. I don't know why I'm listing my credentials, like you won't believe me. Please don't revoke my gamer card, I guess. But all of these games have something in common. Men. Now, this isn't a man-hate video or anything like that. I love men. But being a fan of this subgenre for most of my life has made me come to realize there's a distinct lack of women, especially in a lead role. It doesn't feel like any of these games are made for me. And maybe that's a good thing? I don't necessarily always like products designed from the ground up as a woman's game, but it would be nice sometimes, you know? While Grand Theft Auto is on most fronts interesting to me, I can't relate to gross Sticky Man 1 and 2. I'm a huge fan of westerns, but shaving your rugged cowboy isn't really my thing. There's a lack of slang when it comes to games like this. There's a void where the sleigh used to be. And when I get a chance to play as a woman, it's something in like Saints Row or GTA Online. And I absolutely understand the appeal of creating a character or yourself in a game and diving right in, immersing yourself. But there's nothing that's more of a disconnect to me than a create a character. Customizing your character can be so fun. Lord knows I've spent countless hours in them. I love a good character creator as a concept, but I also love a well-written character more. And they all have this idea of make yourself roleplay, but then give either your character zero personality or they do it all themselves. Take Saints Row, for example, I think is the worst offender of this, because you spend all this time creating a character or yourself, your look, your name, but then when you actually get into the game, you're already a fleshed out character with funny writing. It feels weird because it leaves no room for your own creativity, and it also feels like it stifles their own as well. From the ground up, you're making how you may envision yourself in this world, and that's awesome. But there's no choices. You are not the protagonist here. And the rare times when there is an open world game that does come along and it features woman on the box, it's never the exact thing I want. So if it's not clear, okay, let me break it down. Woman. Actual character, not custom character, modern setting, city, or something adjacent to that. And that's about it. It's like really simple, honestly. I've done extensive research on this very thing to find a game that checks all of these boxes. I've spent a long time trying to compile a list of every open world game that stars a woman, but each and every one comes with some kind of caveat. Tomb Raider, woman? Check. Open world? Check. Modern setting? I don't count this because aside from having guns, it could really be any time period. Sure, you are a modern woman and use modern language and interact with other modern people, but you are exploring ancient civilization. Aside from like the DLC in one of the games, you don't really interact with any modern architecture. You don't interact with a city. The one time you are in a place that's modern, it's like when you're Lara Croft and she's 12. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is the first to feature a female protagonist, even if it's just an option, but the game takes place in 1916, which is nowhere near modern enough. Cyberpunk 2077 seems really cool at this point. There's been tons of updates and fixes, and winning Best Ongoing Game Award, I guess, which was weird. But that's also a custom character. I've always wanted to play the Horizon games, and I still will. But even though it takes place in a version of our world, it's futuristic, and it takes place in post-apocalyptic America. The setting itself isn't that much different from what we see in Tomb Raider. Aside from the robots and technology, it's just grass and rocks. On my off time, I've actually been having a really good time with Forspoken. It's nowhere near as bad as people have said, I have to be so honest with you. I think the option to combine magic spells and other super cool stuff like that, and the traversal is so fun. However, with Forspoken, you are a modern woman, but you're also isekai'd into Fantasyland in like the first 30 minutes of the game. Dragon Age, Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect, Fallout, hell, I guess even Elden Ring, all creative characters. I could go on with this, tangent, but there's so many more that I could name. Instead of giving us strong women in these settings, they either make them secondary options or leave it to us to flesh them out. So many video games I play to experience the artist's vision and their characters and their world, and how their character may interact with that world. I don't watch movies just to have a notepad on hand and write what I think the protagonist would say. And I feel the same way about video games. It feels like so many people don't want to write women. I note this setting and this niche that I want is less popular than the alternatives. It's less likely to happen than a fantasy setting, and I realize this. But even the games that aren't in a modern setting still typically lack an actual written and planned woman protagonist. As a gamer, I don't need to see myself in a character. I don't have to play as a woman, but it sure would be nice. There's only been 2 games that I've found in all of my time of researching that have even come close to what I'm looking for, and even then, it's not exactly. Gotham Knights and Infamous First Light. But, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Even though I did enjoy my time with it from what I've played, Gotham Knights is a perfect example of as an option, since there's only one woman, Batgirl, and she's on a team of 3 men. It's genuinely super fun roaming around the city as Batgirl, and it's probably the closest of the 4 characters to a typical Batman game. You can use your grappling hook, your glide, all the mainstays that you would expect from a game like this. But since there's 4 characters, a lot of the focus is fractured, and tends to be a little bit messy narratively. It's certainly the best that we've gotten out of DC in this category though, as it is an actual game, unlike the Batgirl DLC from Arkham Knight. But I would love to see more. DC has such a great history of women heroes. Like, give me Supergirl, give me a Supergirl game, or Dreamer. Give me Dreamer, I want Dreamer. But there's so many male power fantasy games, I struggle to think of any all-powerful women games. And it's a shame, because I know the market for that is much bigger than they realize. And Infamous First Light is almost a perfect venue for this, but it was a digital-only PSN title, and it's only like 4 hours long, give or take. I still want to play it, and the whole Infamous series at some point, because I know I would adore them. Please re-release them. Please, what are you doing? Please. But it's another great example of game, but girl version. Being a complete afterthought, like, yeah, we'll give them the short one, 4 hours should be enough to shut them up. And mind you, I've only heard good things about First Light, but then it's just a quick afternoon finish. I don't want to just beg for more the moment I'm done. I know this is becoming more of a rant at this point, and my point may have gotten a little bit lost along the way. That's because I'm very passionate about this. It's a shame, and not to sound too pessimistic, but so many games are still made for and promoted to a male audience that a lot of companies seem like they think this is a waste of time. I feel like I've been wanting this to change, to get this exact simple niche I crave for like over a decade. I just hope that Grand Theft Auto 6 is outstanding and shows them that people do want this. The only times that we get games that are for us are when it's a certified game for girls. But it's insane to me that in the decades worth of gaming, there's barely a single open world game with us as the forefront. I know it's a niche, but I can't be the only one that wants this. One of my dream projects, if I could ever work on a game, and if there's any industry people out there that want to listen to my pitch, let me know. It's very simple. What if sleeping dogs was a woman?
Hey, wait, you ever think about what you're going to do after this?
After what?
All this.
Of all possible conversations that could follow. And that's my assessment for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'll try to be back with more soon. Like I said in the first episode, I'm going to be trying to do this weekly, maybe bi-weekly. You guys can let me know what sounds good. And let me know as well if there's any game I missed. Like I said, I've done extensive research on this thing, but if there's anything that you think I would like that might fit this bill, let me know. But until next time, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. So I know that Steam is not typically the best place to look for things like this. And I also know that Steam's tagging system is typically really, really bad. But just to showcase how bad we have it. So on Steam, while researching for this video, just to make sure I didn't miss anything, I searched specifically open world, female protagonist, modern. And it's like, okay, you can kind of get a vibe of like, you know, what I'm looking for here. But then we scroll down and we get games like Make Them Come 1. It includes 5 games. Dude, this bitch is like $50. That is premium. Let me know in the comments who you would go after, Olivia, Lady Sonia, or Sophidia. Lady Sonia, her visit them and fuck them like bitches. Similar to Red Dead Redemption, I'm sure. Actually, you know, maybe I need to play Redemption more. Installing. Wait, there's Man-Eater here. Is Man-Eater's shark a woman? What are the shark's pronouns? Female protagonist. Wait, is this the one? Is this what we have to work with? Is this the representation?